First caller for today is Brother Sulaimani from Germany.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, I saw one of your videos where it goes about is minor shirk if you not say Alhamdulillah, and most likely I misunderstood your answer, and I want to ask you to be safe and rather than sorry. So, for example, Sheikh, if somebody asks me how are you and I say only good without Alhamdulillah, or do you have, for example, money, and I say yes I have without saying Alhamdulillah, do you mean this with this minor shirk, or what is the thing about minor shirk? What you meant?
First of all, Akhi Kareem, I am a bit old to remember what I said from the things that I did not say. So I cannot understand which video you're relating to. And secondly, I would highly advise you to watch something beneficial rather than wasting your time watching my videos. Secondly, no, there's nothing wrong in saying I am good when someone asks you, how are you? Or if you have money and you say, yes, I do have money. No one says that you have to say, Alhamdulillah. But what I said most likely is to attribute favors and blessings of Allah Azza wa Jal to your own knowledge and your own ability. Some say that this is minor shirk, which may be true, which may not be true, depending on a person's intention. And I gave an example when a person shows slides on PowerPoint showing the results of last year. And he says, I managed to fulfill my targets of the year in the third quarter. So I was a quarter early. And I managed to secure a profit of this and that, and the strategy worked that I did, without saying this is attributed to Allah. And the origin of this is the hadith of Ibn Abbas. May Allah be pleased with him, when he was referring to a person narrating that yesterday there was an attempt to rob my home and the burglar broke in. Had it not been to the duck or to the pet or to the dog that frightened the burglar, he would have robbed our home. So instead of saying, had it not been for Allah Azza wa Jal favor and blessing upon us that He saved us, he attributed that to the dog. And some scholars say that this is minor shirk, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Suham from the US.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
So I have a specific scenario where I was praying and I was in a position, let's say for example ruku, and by mistake I didn't stay long enough to say the tasbih. For example, Subhana Rabbiyal Azim, maybe in the middle I was intending to get up, and I just moved my head a little bit, but my hands were still on my knees. So like I was still in a position, but people can see that I intended to get up, but I didn't got up fully. My hands were still on my knees, but I moved my head. So what should I have done at that position?
Nothing.
And what should I do next?
Nothing. You were still in the ruku' position, so you could have said it again and then again and then again. As long as your hands were on your knees, you were still in the ruku' position. Muhammad from Malaysia.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, as a ma'mum, like, what is the limit between the imam and you? Like, for example, if you are still reading Fatiha and the imam is already rising from the ruku', is your rak'ah still valid?
It depends. If you are the one who is slow and you're taking your time and sometimes listening to the whispers of shaitan and repeating the ayah over and over and over again, and the imam went for ruku' and you're still struggling to finish it, and then he said, Sami Allahu liman hamidah, before you go to ruku' with him, the rak'ah is invalid. But if the imam you're praying behind is a Ferrari imam, barely saying the Fatiha and goes for ruku', barely saying one Subhan Rabbil Azim and rising up, then you are normal in your recitation or a little bit fast, trying to catch up. The other people in the congregation are suffering as you are, then your rak'ah is valid and you should not pray behind such an imam. Third scenario, that you come late, like just before a second or two before the imam goes for ruku', and you start your Fatiha, and the imam goes for ruku', you interrupt your Fatiha and go with him, because as if you went and joined while he was in the ruku' position, so you're exempted from the Fatiha. Ahmed from Palestine.
Alaikum.
Alaykum as-salam wa rahmatullah.
I want to ask if Coke haram because it was discovered that it has tiny traces of nutmeg oil.
Are you
But it
talking
wasn't
about cola?
Yes.
First of all, it was discovered, it was proven, it was stated. This or these phrases we've been hearing since a very, very long time. Since the time of like 30 years, 25 years, we've been hearing it about soap bars, about toothpastes, about soft drinks, about medicine, about sweets and candies. And as Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen says, all of these are not backed up by medical reports or scientific research or something that is independent and proven. It's all organization.net, .com, whatever, that has no reliability to it or no authenticity to it. And therefore, we will continue to consume these things because the default is it's halal till proven otherwise. We can throw accusations left, right, and center. The coffee you're drinking, wallah, it was proven that the coffee beans from Brazil have this and that. And from Ethiopia, it has this and that. And from Indonesia, it has this and that. And some is najis, some is haram, some is pork related. All of these are nonsense. No proof, and therefore the default remains as it is. Mu'adh from India.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaykum as-salam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, I want to ask about one incident happened with Sahaba after the death of Prophet ﷺ. There is one Sahaba named Hazrat bin Malik, Radiallahu ta'ala anhu. His farmer told
Hadrat bin
him-
Malik?
Anas bin Malik.
Anas bin Malik is the servant of the Prophet ﷺ. May Allah be pleased with him. Okay.
There has been no rainfall this year. His servant told him, so if there will be no rain, your land will be remain barren. So Hazrat Anas bin Malik Radiallahu ta'ala anhu pray to Allah and rain start, but only on his fields, not another. So is it karamat and is this authentic?
I was not there at the time, and this is possible. It's Allah's will to send the rain wherever He wants. So if this had happened and it only rained on Anas ibn Malik's farm, who is the servant of the Prophet ﷺ, who is one of the fortunate people to receive dua, because when his mom, Sulaym, brought him to the Prophet ﷺ and said, O Prophet of Allah, your servant, Unais, this is a nice way of calling children by making their name in the small form. Your servant, Unais, which is Anas, make dua for him. So the Prophet said, O Allah, prolong his life and increase his wealth and put barakah in his offspring and forgive his sins. Prolong his life, he said, I'm over, I think, 100 years of age now. And put barakah in his wealth. Every farm in Medina gives produce once a year. My farms give twice a year. And increase his offspring. He says, I have buried over 100 souls of my own offspring, children, grandchildren, and great-great-grandchildren. And I am wishful that the fourth one would also be answered, which Allah would forgive my sins. So this is a possibility, and Allah knows best.